Hi, this is Kinross. It's a HO scale cameo layout, about 1 metre long, still a work in progress. We've got a lockdown here still in the UK, which means I've not been able to get out to the hardware store to buy some extra materials to finish off the lid, lighting lid and whatnot. But I thought I'd shoot a little video and show how far things have come since just before Christmas when the project started. The catalyst behind the project has been reading Bill Linley's excellent book and Bram Bailey's book By Morning Sun about Canadian National in the Maritimes, and the wonderfully evocative photos of Prince Edward Island and the small but very purposeful General Electric 70 tonners that Canadian National rostered on the island due to the lightweight track work. So just like in many cases, the key actor is the catalyst behind the whole thing. This Bachmann model has been reworked to represent number 35. By no means an exact replica. I've tried to incorporate as many of the details as I can, but there are some limitations with using a Bachmann shell. But it still looks to me very much at home on the layout, and really does evoke the same feelings that you get when you look at the photos of the prototype. The layout actually sits above Pontalulas, my 00 cameo layout of roughly the same proportions, and here you can see just how compact it is. It is just over 1 metre long and sits on an IKEA lac shelf, probably about 25 centimetres deep. It is actually borrowing the lighting pelmet and lid from the 00 layout, which is why it's not quite fitted properly here. What I've tried to recreate is the feeling of a mix of undergrowth and evergreen trees towards Uigg on the Kinross section. And then there was a Steve Hunter photo which started the whole thing off, which showed a 35 tonner switching this spur, the Visser spur, and I wanted to recreate that in miniature. So it literally is one turnout, and then at this end, to contrast with the trees the other end, you've got a low relief section of the Visser warehouse. The elevators are actually pasted onto the back scene, as is that sort of smidge of a building behind, but also the contrast in tree types. You've got a poplar on the left and something slightly more generic on the right there. One thing I was keen to incorporate was that feeling of being part of the scene and watching, just the joy of watching the railway perform its sort of everyday operation. And to that end, I was interested in seeing whether a vehicle and a figure could be used to sort of pull you into the scene as if you were watching. And this little chap is actually mounted on a pin on his leg, so I can actually swivel him to see which way the train's coming and which way he's looking. An element that isn't quite finished yet is there will be some extensions here to allow trains to run on and off scene, which will also allow me to do slightly more complicated switching manoeuvres. But these little windows give you another perspective into the scene, which was a totally unexpected bonus and quite a lovely surprise when I realised you could actually get a good view down the track, which wasn't completely ruined by the hole in the back scene at the other end either. So let's see the trains in action. In future, the idea will be that the loads are actually positioned off scene as if across the level crossing itself. Obviously not possible at the moment without an extension board in place. All coupling and uncoupling is by hand with just the KD stick. A little bit tricky to do whilst you're filming at the same time. This video is actually shot at eye level, the shelf being deliberately situated to give that view into the world. I've really tried to work a variety of colours and textures into the landscape to depict the difference between roadside scrub, slightly looked after greenery around the warehouse itself, and then the edge of a field as well. And I think that balance in colour and texture really adds something to the space despite being such a small layout. So thanks for watching. I hope it was interesting. I hope it's inspired you perhaps to try your own project and see what you can recreate in a small space in a relatively short space of time. Perhaps scratch that itch for the prototype that you haven't really got space for, but you've always fancied modelling. Until next time.